contrast is stark. The public Diddy charismatic, successful, beloved versus the private Diddy that these voices describe. In July 2025, a jury delivered a mixed verdict. Combs was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and is currently serving a 50-month sentence in federal prison over 4 years behind bars. He was acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking. The story doesn't end there. Combs currently faces over 80 civil suits still pending against him, many rooted in sexual assault claims. Each lawsuit represents another voice, another allegation, another piece of a puzzle that the documentary tries to assemble. Meanwhile, 50 Cent shows no remorse for his role in bringing this story to light. When asked about the footage, he simply said, "I don't think you can get closer." He was documenting himself on his way to jail. Here's the cruel irony. Diddy's obsession with documenting everything meant to build his legacy became the instrument of his exposure. For decades, Diddy filmed constantly. He wanted control over his narrative, his image, his place in history. He understood the power of media and used it masterfully to build his empire. But in the end, that same technology, those same cameras captured the moments he never intended the world to see. The vulnerable conversations, the strategic manipulations, the panic of a man losing everything. The camera never stopped rolling, just as he wanted. But now, someone else controls the edit. This battle raises profound questions that extend far beyond one man's legal troubles. Who owns your story? If you film yourself for decades with the intention of creating a documentary, do you have the right to control how that footage is used? Or once it's captured, does it belong to the public record, especially when criminal allegations are involved? What is justice versus exploitation? Netflix and 50 Cent claim they're giving voice to survivors and exposing truth. Diddy's team argues it's a calculated hit piece by a rival with a personal vendetta. Can both things be true? Is this journalism or entertainment? The documentary features serious allegations and survivor testimony. But it's also produced by Diddy's longtime rival and became Netflix's most watched content, surpassing even their biggest entertainment franchises. Where's the line? The role of tech in accountability. In an era where everyone has a camera, where everything can be recorded and shared, what does privacy mean? What should it mean? Whether you're Team 50 Cent or believe Diddy deserves fair treatment, this case matters because it's a preview of our future. We live in an age where everything is documented. Every conversation, every private moment, every mistake can be captured, stored, and potentially weaponized. Social media, Ring cameras, smartphones, we're all constantly creating a digital record of our lives. Diddy thought he was creating an archive of his greatness. Instead, he may have created an archive of his downfall. How many of us are doing the same thing without realizing it? Despite the documentary's success and the legal verdict, many questions remain. Will Diddy actually sue Netflix, or were the C. Sandesis letters just legal posturing? His lawyers threatened legal action, but since the documentary aired, Combs has taken no legal action against Netflix. What will happen to Diddy's empire while he serves his sentence? His bad boy entertainment, his fashion lines, his business ventures, they all exist in limbo. Will more footage emerge? If decades of material exist, what else is out there waiting to be discovered? And perhaps most importantly, will the civil lawsuits reveal even darker truths than what the documentary shows? Picture this. A young black man from Harlem, raised by a single mother after his father was murdered, climbs through sheer will and talent to the absolute pinnacle of American entertainment. He doesn't just succeed, he transforms an entire industry. He makes hip-hop acceptable to mainstream America, creates jobs, launches careers, builds an empire, becomes exactly what he dreamed of, a mogul, an icon, a legend. Then, in the span of months, it all crumbles. The allegations, the lawsuits, the federal investigation, the arrest, the trial, the conviction. And the whole time the cameras keep rolling, just as he planned. Except now, they're not telling his story. They're telling the story of his fall. There's something Shakespearean about it. Something tragically American. The heights you can reach and the depths you can fall. The American dream and the American nightmare captured in 4,000 resolution. Diddy wanted to control his narrative. Instead, his rival is the one telling it to the world. The footage he commissioned for his legacy became evidence of his downfall. The empire he built became the backdrop for its own collapse. Whether you see this as justice finally being served or as the exploitation of a fallen man, one thing is undeniable. This is a cautionary tale for our times. Now it's your turn to weigh in. You think Netflix and 50 Cent crossed the line? Or is this important journalism that gives survivors a voice? Should Diddy's footage be considered his property, or is it fair game once serious allegations emerge? Is 50 Cent's involvement ethical given his long-standing feud with Diddy? Or does his personal history make him the perfect person to tell this story without fear of industry backlash? What do you think happens next? Will more footage emerge? Will the civil suits reveal even darker truths? Can Diddy ever rebuild his reputation after serving his sentence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This story is far from over, and the conversation is just beginning. If this story moved you, hit that like button. If you want to stay updated as this saga continues to unfold, subscribe and turn on notifications. And remember, in an age where everything is recorded, everyone's watching, including the cameras you set up yourself. The battle between Sean Diddy Combs, Netflix, and 50 Cent isn't just about one man's legal troubles. It's about power, legacy, accountability, and who gets to tell the story when the cameras never stop rolling.